getting the show. My plan was to be the early, but traffic was slow. Anyway, I reached the tent on time, but I had to run a line. If you see the crowd partner waiting to enjoy the soca life, yeah.
All over the country, where we go, from one end of the country to the other, it's the same old story. Thousands and thousands of people are coming out now. In fact, tens of thousands. People are fed up with the PMC.
APNU AFC promised more jobs and a good life. Instead, we lost 30,000 jobs. Taxes went up, people are less safe, and cost of living skyrocketed. Now, after 4 years of neglect and corruption, the APNU AFC gang are coming with more empty promises, only cause they need you now. We are smart. Fool me once, shame on you. This time, we will not be fooled by your sneaky fake news APNU promises. Reporting PPPC to get Guyana working again.
Good evening. Thank you for joining me. Now, another week has gone by and we have no date yet for elections. We see a lot of discussions going on at GCOM. The chairperson seemed to be a little lost in understanding her role and the decisions she needs to make. We know the government is still running from an election. You know, it's a wonder. A government that won on a list in 2015 and then subsequently lost 2 local government elections, and now is so scared that they will lose this next election that they are spending so much time trying to figure out how to mess with the list to make sure that whatever they're trying to do and whatever is scaring them is making them run away from elections. They're breaking every rule of law. They're not following the Constitution. You know, they've gone back on all their promises. You listen to their speeches in 2014. You wonder if these are the same people that, you know, pushed so hard in 2014 when President Ramsaroop prorogued Parliament, and some of the rhetoric and the nasty words they said to them now doing it themselves. And you want to know what is fair about that system when you have a president that betrays the country. Mr. Granger has betrayed the country in so many ways, but running from an election when the Constitution calls for that election in a timely manner and with specific timelines, that is a president you can never trust that man again, Mr. Granger. There's no way. We know he broke all the promises that he promised. You know, when I talk to UG students, you know, he promised them jobs soon they graduate. Then a year or 2 later, he told them, well, he is not responsible for their jobs. They should go, you know, make plantain chips and cook up rice. That president has betrayed our country so many times. He's betrayed it with the rule of law, with the Constitution. He has betrayed it with the promises. Mr. Granger is not trustworthy. He's not a trustworthy person. You cannot look in the eyes of our people, Mr. Granger, and tell them anything else in this next campaign. And I wonder, would even your supporters be voting for you? I don't think, you know, from all the health records and, you know, the age, I know a lot of us can go as far as 100, but, you know, will you last out that 5 years? And so an APNU supporter have to think through, are they voting for Mr. Granger, who is not trustworthy, who's betrayed our government, our country, and who else are they voting for? Is it Basil Williams that potentially will take over, you know, the dumps that caused this entire delay with his other cohorts? I'm not sure. So you're taking a big risk by even looking at Mr. Granger, who has betrayed our country, is not a trustworthy gentleman. He cannot live up to his own words. Just go back and study his words in 2014 when he blasted Mr. Ramsaroop, President Ramsaroop, for proroguing Parliament, how he blasted any expenditure of money, how he went to the international community and pushed for sanctions. That's a man today that is he's breaking the law. Mr. Ramsaroop didn't break the law. President Ramsaroop broke Parliament and then called elections. Mr. Granger got a no confidence vote, breaks the law, do not call elections, and you want to say he has the trust of the nation? Mr. Granger, I apologize to tell you, you've betrayed our nation. You're not a trustworthy gentleman, and I hope you don't ever get a chance anytime again to try to lead our nation. The betrayal goes even further. You know, as you listen to the local content discussion, what is happening? APNU is giving away our country. I don't know if they probably know they're going to lose elections. So by doing favors to these large corporations, maybe each of the individuals involved, including the caretaker president, may benefit down the road because, you know, those companies will be grateful for what the agreements they have and may hire some of them as consultants post-2019 election. So you have to wonder why Mr. Granger and his ministers is giving away our country. They're giving away our country to the foreigners. All of it. And I'm just going to put up one slide and I'll discuss a lot more issues that Mr. Granger is giving away. And the question is, why is Mr. Granger and his ministers giving away our country? Why is he signing these agreements? Let me put up that one slide. If, you know, and this I pulled off of the internet. Guyanese, we are saying, wake up. Our government sold us out to the foreigners and the oil companies. You know, the 1% royalty at Tullow, I mean, and we are paying that. You know, there's no local content policy. They've delayed for 4 years, we know, we have oil, and you can't get a local content policy in place, Mr. Granger. You know, when you look at what is happening, and the slide can go off the screen now. When you look at what is happening around us, what Mr. Granger is giving away. For example, a foreign company comes into Guyana, asks for concessions because they're bringing in foreign investment. So Mr. Granger signs away our oil to Tullow at 1%, Exxon at 2%. He's giving the Trinidadians land and allowing them to bring in their equipment and their supplies, all with not paying taxes. And you know, local companies, many of them, you know, companies like Job Parts and National Hardware, all have supplies that they have brought in that can supply the oil industry, pipes, for example, but they don't get any duty free. So the oil companies and the Trinidadian companies are not using our local companies because they're bringing in those goods and services, goods duty free. So why buy from the local companies? That is the crux of what is happening to our local companies and why Mr. Granger has given away our wealth to other people. Imagine one oil company in Guyana brings in bottled water from California. They don't buy the bottled water from Guyana. I don't know if our standards do not meet, but they don't buy our local bottled water for their people on the rigs. They're bringing it in from California. Look at that cost to come here is duty free, and we are going to pay that bill back. We are paying the bill for them to bring in water, but they're not buying water from our companies. That's a betrayal Mr. Granger has done to our nation. A betrayal. Not trustworthy. Giving away our wealth. Our wealth. The U.S. ambassador is a friend, but I really disagreed with her statement recently when she said we are going to scare away foreign investors by pushing for local content. Well, Miss Ambassador, that's not true. Foreign companies need to respect our nation. Our government needs to respect our nation. Maybe the foreign companies are asking for the world and they're getting it, but they can't come into our country and take our wealth. Our wealth goes to our people first, Ms. Ambassador, and we welcome the support, we welcome the investments, but I would advise you to advise those companies coming in to find a local partner and ensure that local partner has the capacity and be given a chance to deliver goods and services to you, regardless of a local content policy. So I disagree with the U.S. Ambassador that foreign companies will be scared off. They need Guyana more than we need them. Right now, those foreign companies need our wealth. They need our access. We're not going to scare them off. So get on with the local policy, Mr. Granger. Get it done. Take care of our own people and ensure that you don't continue to be this undertaker. You have gone past the stage of caretaker. It is time you stop giving away our wealth. It's time for our people, our companies to benefit. And if your ministers are benefiting from those companies, foreign companies coming in, knowing that they're going to lose election, being promised jobs outside. I've worked in federal governments before, and I spent a lot of years in Washington. And it's a game. A lot of people know when they're going to be exiting a government job. They work very closely with a private partner and give them access today. So when the time they get out looking for work, they have access and they would have done a favor to that company. And I know that is what is happening today, because why would a minister and the caretaker on the taker president give away a 1% deal to Tullow, given the fact that oil is already in country? Exxon has already done the hard work. They have gotten the sweet deal too. I told many times you give them a little credit maybe for being the frontier company. But everyone else coming in, you're going to give them that deal? Mr. Granger, you've betrayed our nation. You've betrayed our people. That wealth is ours. And you continue to give away our nation's wealth. No local content policy. So any ambassador, any foreign company that gets upset at us when we look at you and says, do not take our wealth, it's ours. You can partner with us. You can join our team. You can bring capabilities that we don't have. But if we have some of those capabilities, we want first shot at it, Mr. Granger. Our local companies want the first shot at any of those concessions. Why not give some of the companies the concessions in Guyana instead of giving the concessions to foreigners, the Trinidadians and the other Americans and others? Why give them the concession? If you give some of our local companies the concessions to bring in the pipes, to bring in the bolts, to bring in the water that they want, give our local companies concession, guess who gets the work? It's our people gets the job, because our local company only hires the locals. So if they have a growing business, our people will get more jobs. When those big companies coming in our country, bringing in their goods, their equipment, our people don't get the job. 300 jobs potentially in the oil industry, when there's so much wealth to go around and our companies need to grow. So when you see me saying local content policy, implementation is treacherous, that Mr. Granger had 4+ years to understand what we want, our people want from this next decade. And he can look in their eyes, our eyes right now, on the campaign trail, and refuse to admit his betrayal, refuse to admit he has failed the nation. Mr. Granger, when you go to church Sunday and you get on your knees, you need to pray for forgiveness, because you have taken away our Guyanese wealth. You have given it away to the foreigners. You continue to give them concessions that are not in the best interest of our people, and that betrayal, you will pay the price because you will lose the next election. You're going from an undertaker president, caretaker undertaker president of Mr. Granger, to a transformer. Irfan Ali is going to be a hands-on president. This next decade, we don't need an elite president that sits in a big house and drives around in 18 cars, signs our wealth away to foreigners. We need a hands-on, transformative, passionate, educated, past performance president. And that's what Mr. Ali will give us in this next decade. Think of it. The hard work starts now. Mr. Granger has took our economy back to almost the days of the past. You know, we had $2.1 billion in debt in 1992. We're back up to 1.6, 1.7 billion US dollars in debt. So Mr. Ali has to come in and be a hands-on president. He has to fix the ills now of our economy. He's got to put 30,000 people back to work and create new job opportunities. And in his latest speech to the nation, if you get a chance to look at it, it's on the PP website. It's trending on social media. He talks about the transformation of our nation, the hands-on approach, competent people looking across all our sectors, ensuring that our sectors we have right now revive, rebuild, and surge. He said that oil and gas is the capitalists of, you know, the funds and the energy will come from those oil and gas to propel those other industries that we need. Those are where the work is. The work, ladies and gentlemen, is not in the oil and gas. How many of you are going to go sit on the ship, the rig out in our waters 120 miles away? How many of you can do that? Where are the jobs? The jobs is in the productive sectors, in the sugar industry, in the rice industry, in the tourism industry, the manufacturing industry, in new industries that we're going to be proposing in our manifesto. That's where the real jobs are. So when you think of oil and gas, and Mr. Jordan and Mr. Granger promises you wealth, with what? There's no work out of oil and gas. It's these productive sectors that they have grind to a halt is where the jobs will work, the jobs that took away from us, and where it will be built in the future. As we expand our gold industry, our diamond industry, our agriculture industry, non-traditional agriculture, as we expand our rice, as we look into manufacturing of rice products, you know, as we look at expanding the sugar industry, growing more sugar cane. The power of the sugar cane has tremendous value to our nation. The thousands of jobs that were removed will be put back in place. These are real life issues that each of us want to know about. We want to benefit. You know, when Mr. Ali, the transformer, takes over from the undertaker, with a stroke of a pen, he will reverse 200 plus taxes. That will put money in your pocket immediately. Immediately. He will take the taxes off of water and electricity with a stroke of a pen. Immediately in the next 30 days, your light bill and your water bill will be reduced. He will implement back the $8 billion, the $10,000 grant to school children. You need that right now. I went to buy books today, I can tell you. It's a lot. And with a stroke of a pen, day one of a President Ali's administration, we, the people, will get our money back that Mr. Granger, who has betrayed our nation, has taken away from us and has given it away. He not just took it from us, 4 plus taxes. school children grant, joint services bonuses. He's not just taking it away from us, but he has given it away to the foreigners. He has betrayed our flag. He's betrayed our Constitution. He's betrayed our people. And Mr. Granger, you're not trustworthy. And I hope on the campaign trail again that you confess to the nation that you have screwed us. You have messed us up. And it's going to take us a while to recover. And all those foreigners that are taking away our land, taking away our goods, getting all those concessions, I think you need to wake up. And it's in your best interest to go find the local partners, rework those concessions, tell Mr. Granger that you don't want those concessions. You rather see our local companies. Mr. Ambassador, your speech should have been, I would rather see the local companies get the concessions equivalent or more than the foreign companies out there. Then we can have a discussion of who comes into our nation, what do they bring, what do they take out. You know, when they start taking out the cash, it doesn't stay in our economy. Money makes money. We need that money spent back in our economy. So a local company bringing in the oil pipes, bringing in the boats, bringing in the water, bringing in the clothing, the gears, will be hiring more people. That money will be flowing back. They will be expanding their services. That is what running a country, running economics is all about, Mr. Granger. It is not us paying the debt to Tullow and Exxon and all these other companies. It is not us paying for money for their wealth. Look at their stock prices. It jumped drastically. Did our stock jump, Mr. Granger? Did any one of us get a pay raise in our homes? But all the executives and shareholders of Tullow Oil got a boost, money that they can cash in the next day. Did our people? All we got today was blackout. We got a Demerara bridge that was broken. 4.5 years, they couldn't even start the construction because of all the corruption on the high-span bridge. And we wonder why these guys are running from election. They know it. They know that the time is up. The longer they delay it, they get some more money in their pockets, maybe for their future life, but it's only so far they can run. The nation is on to them, and we will continue to expose the corruption that we have seen. And these are not perceived corruption, these are real corruption. You know, Mr. Granger knows that he rented a house as a drug bond, medical drug bond, for $12.5 million a month. Mr. Granger agreed with that, and he doesn't see that as a corrupt practice, but he goes to church every Sunday and kneels and prays, but he doesn't see that $12.5 million for a house in the city, not even a good part of the city, not a high expensive part of the city. For $12.5 million, you're going to pay for a house, and Mr. Granger doesn't see that as a corrupt practice. It is a corrupt practice. You know, I talked to some businessmen that the PNC General Secretary is going around telling them how much money they have to give. They must. They want $1 million here for this and $1 million here for that, and they're have to give her cash. That's not the way we want to run our campaigns. You know, you have not delivered to the people. You're demanding these favors, and those same people as business people may give it to you, but I know they're not voting for you. Their wealth has been taken away. The taxes are high. Our corporate taxes has not been reduced. In our plans, we talk about raising the tax threshold. You're going to see real numbers that affect each of us positively. And, you know, when we look at expanding our services, and I talk about the transformative leader. And I think, and I'll make a bold statement, this is Peter Ramsaroop prediction, that a President Ali will be probably the transformative, best president Guyana would have ever seen. And I told that to Mr. Freddie Kissoon this morning when I was walking in the park. Because he's a hands-on president, he will ensure that the plans are delivered. He's not going to sit back in a fancy house and give orders and sign agreements and give away our wealth. No. He wants to see our people benefit. And that's why on day one, at the stroke of a pen, he will reverse all those taxes and ensure that we the people, the pensioners, the school children, the sugar workers, all of us get back what we deserve, and then get what we more deserve is our wealth that Mr. Granger has given away to our foreigners. I'll take a few phone calls. Yes, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. I sit here listening to your program. I want to know why you just focus on President Granger. I want to know why you just focus on President Granger. The work that President Granger is doing, that you in Sonalia, the last 21 years to do the same thing, and you haven't do nothing.
Okay, give me two things that Mr. Granger has done good for Guyana. Give me two things. I got one. He built Durban Park that is falling apart. The Sorai, $600 million disappeared.
I know.
Give me one more.
21 years to do it, and you haven't do it.
Do what? The country was the best GDP figures, the best cost of living figures were prior to 2015. Are you making any more money today than you were making in 2015? Are you paying more taxes today than you were paying in 2015? Answer that. No, just answer that. What did he do? He betrayed our nation. He has given away our wealth to the foreigners. You still can't give me one thing Mr. Granger has done.
I could give you all the things that you do. You don't have the money.
Well, that is proven to be wrong. So that is proven to be wrong. They have done all the forensic audits. Our country GDP, we left $665 million US in the Bank of Guyana for our foreign reserves. Where did that money go? Where did the money go? How would you take over a booming economy? And why are you paying taxes on your electricity and water right now? Why are you paying $5,000 for your driver's license? Where you have all that money to give away to the government? Good. So you're going to fire 10,000 sugar workers because you can't figure out how to manage a sugar estate that has been running so long? I am listening. I'm asking you for the two things Mr. Granger has done. Give me the two things.
I tell you, the two things that you do. The PPP.
Not the PPP, what Mr. Granger has done. We know what the PPP has done. I want to hear what Mr. Granger has done that you think has transformed Guyana.
The PPP transformed Guyana 22 years ago.
Absolutely. 1992, the economy was in shatters. $2.1 billion in debt. We had a negative growth. We were even lower than Haiti. Look where it took 2015. And I should show you the video that you probably should see. When people came back in 2015, they were shocked at where Guyana would be. Back to my question, sir. Give me two things that Mr. Granger has done that transform our nation. You're talking about the PPP. I'm talking about what Mr. Granger has done in the last 4 years. Thank you very much. I don't think you can answer the question. Sorry, caller. I'll take you off. I probably will take a few more phone calls. Throughout that entire dialogue, he wants to talk about what the PPP did, which we know. I've given the numbers. Where our debt was, where our foreign reserves were, where our exchange rate was, 200 to 1. It's now 220 plus. We've got 200 plus taxes. We've got 10,000 sugar workers out of work. We've got 30,000 overall out of work. We're paying taxes from left and right. We're not making any more money. Joint services, no bonuses. Mr. Granger, what have you done? The caller couldn't come up with one. I asked for two. I give him one. I give him the sore eye of Durban Park. $600 million missing. $1 billion spent. I gave him the drug bond. That Mr. Granger spent $12.5 million a month renting a house. The caller couldn't come up with any one. Just one. Kept going back to the PPP days. And I can tell you, he was better off under the PPP, and he knows it, than where he's at today. If you were better off prior to 2015, if you were not paying all these taxes, you were not having this much blackouts, you were not having your disposable money gone, no $10,000 for your school children to buy their books and their uniforms this month. Tell me what Mr. Granger has done. As I started the program, he's betrayed our nation. He has given away our wealth to foreigners. He has ignored our local businesses. He has not taken care of our people. That's what Mr. Granger has done. And he ought to go to church on Sunday and confess. Before he gets on the campaign trail, come back with promises. Promising UG students a job. The day they graduate, you will get a job. How much thousands of UG students have graduated over the last 4 years with 0 jobs? None. They're not even getting the basic jobs anymore. The market has stopped. So a President Ali, a hands-on president of our future, a transformative president that will ensure our sectors are put back in place, are expanded, our energy costs reduced, and our people back to work, and with money in our pocket. That's the commitment of a President Ali's administration. He will be transformative versus the man of Mr. Granger that has become the undertaker. You know, when you break trust in any one of our lives, when your partner, when your business partner, your personal partner, a friend break your trust, it's very difficult to forget and even forgive. Mr. Granger has broken our trust of our people, the promises that he made, the statements he made in 2014 of how he will never break the Constitution, never break the rule of law. And here the man is in 2019. Every one of them ignores them. Constitution calls for him to resign and the cabinet to resign. He refused. That's bullyism in our Constitution. That's not a good man, not trustworthy. And we cannot allow that continue in our nation. Yes, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to talk to nobody want to hear with the president gets on 19 charges basically, right? And it's a big old scam. Keep out the government money when he was there acting as a holding.
Well, you're doing propaganda right now. All those charges are frivolous charges.
Yeah.
Those are propaganda. So where did the $12.5 million that Mr. Granger rented the bond? Why did he give that man $12.5 million a month? But I will listen to you. Is your life better off? Are you paying more taxes today? Do you have more money in your pocket than you have in 2015? No, you can't answer that, sir. So you agree that 10,000, 30,000 people should be out of work in our country, and you believe that's a good policy of Mr. Granger? Thank you. Mr. Granger, no matter what the callers, and I think they're caught on to the program tonight, they go back to the rumors in the mill. We know of all the forensic audits were done. Not a single money was found in anybody's pockets. So come with that again. It's not going to work this time around. Mr. Granger's failed the nation. He's an untrustworthy person. He's betrayed our people. He has lied to the nation. And there's nothing that anybody can say that can prove that wrong, because the numbers speak for itself. The corruption speaks for itself. The breaking of the rule of law speaks for itself. Ignoring our Constitution, running away from election, all there. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
All right. You're for Ali all the way.
Thank you. He will be a hands-on president and a transformative president. Guyana needs that kind of individual with a good team around him, taking our nation to the greater heights where each one of us benefits. Thank you. I've got to end the program. I appreciate you listening. I urge you to pay more close attention to what is happening around us. The issues of the day is critical. It affects each one of us. It affects our children and our grandchildren of the future. Giving away our wealth today, we will never get it back. We saw Mr. Barnum ruin our nation by taking away other people's wealth. Now this one is giving away our wealth. We cannot continue that way. We want our people to benefit first. The commitment is to ensure that our people get the wealth, get the concessions, get the jobs, and then other people can come in and take the leftovers. But we get it first. So any foreign company, we want it first. Our people. You can come in and partner. You can come in and take things that we can do. We welcome that. But our local policy, our local content policy is important. Our natural resources and our wealth is ours. Mr. Granger, you're going to be out of office soon. Please, I urge you to stop giving away Guyana. Stop giving away Guyana. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to our conversations on Saturday. And I hope within the next week that the chairperson of GCOM stop with all of the discussions that are irrelevant to the nation. Advise the president on a date. Follow the Constitution as she said she will. And let's get on with voting Mr. Granger, the betrayal, undertaker, caretaker government that has given away our nation, out of office, and ensure we get a hands-on president that will be for the people. And that's all we ask for, someone that will ensure that they're watching for us. It's our resources, it's our wealth, every one of us. Guyana is ours, and we want to keep it. Thank you. God bless you.